Hello and welcome to Champion Reviews. I'm Joe, here from my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
Kraven returns. And he behaves a little cravenly this episode. Come on. That one was good. And you know what else is good? Is you subscribing or sharing this video. As we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that we can publish the first chapter of a dark fantasy horror novel we've been working on. So anyways, on with the show. Sorry, I thought I did that pretty good. Leading one into one another? Okay, sorry. Anyways, I just figured I'd try to have fun with the review. But the episode was actually so-so. There were moments where Spider-Man kept falling for the same trick, which was just
Ridiculous.
annoying, because he doesn't do that normally. But at the same time, he is in the anger phase of his grief over MJ. So, in that regard, it's a little realistic. Kraven, though, behaves like a numbskull. And rather than thinking, well, I gotta team up with someone, he decides, I'll take this potion. Then I'm gonna go after Spider-Man. Yeah, sure, I should be going out to save my wife, but first, there's a score to settle with Spider-Man. Really, dude? Why? No, it's just he keeps picking fights with Spider-Man when he'd be better off asking him for help. So is he really trying to help Mariah, or is he busy trying to get into a stick measuring contest over Mariah again? That's what I think is his problem this episode.
He had more self-control than when he first showed up.
But barely. He's however willing to risk Maria Crawford's life and sanity over his own ego. So that's different from before. That said, Black Cat pulls through a few times. Other times she nearly gets Spider-Man killed, like over the cat thing, which I don't actually fall in on her side there. The cat probably could have dashed out of the way. That said, at the same time, she nearly got Spider-Man killed over that. And that's where it's... Yes, I know animal lives matter. They do. But you almost got a man killed. Maybe out to say, at least, okay, I'm sorry. But she didn't say sorry. She actually said... She tried to excuse her actions and her failures.
She got preachy at a few points.
Oh, only preachy. Yeah, she might as well have started donning a priest's robes and saying, I know better than you, Pete. Yeah, she was very preachy this episode. That said, on the other hand, Peter kind of had it coming at a few points. I'm just saying
There are times where
his anger was out of control.
Yeah, and he needed to be reminded to cool his jets.
Like, on a scale of... as far as acting like a jerk goes, Lois Lane being charming and, say, Goliath being a moron, he was on the Goliath end of things from Gargoyles. The reason I'm smack-talking Goliath is over the Demona thing. Given every episode of Demona, it's just her going, I'm all alone, please comfort me. Die, woman! That's essentially Goliath's reaction. He's not a good ex.
Yeah.
But the thing is, yeah, I like Goliath, but come on. Like, he's a jerk. And he's at fault for half the stuff that happens in Gargoyles. But the thing with Spider-Man is he kind of almost falls into that trap in universe. He's letting his anger corrupt him. But then Black Cat does calm him down in the one scene, which is a very important and good scene. And I do like that he's starting to try to bond with Harry, although that's not going to go down very well because Harry's a drug addict and is crazy. But Peter's trying to find comfort where he can find it. Aunt May's certainly no help. I'm sorry, but like, Aunt Gail lost MJ, sure. But at the same time, what about your adoptive son who lost his wife?
Hey, Aunt May, I need to talk about...
Yeah, Gail needs help.
Gail needs help. I need to talk about Mary Jane. Oh, no. Oh. Wee-oo, all the way to the ER.
Yeah, pretty much. That's on me. Like, poor Peter. He really doesn't have a support system.
Yeah.
So that's why he goes to Harry. That's kind of him hitting rock bottom. It's like, I find that the one you really pity in this episode is Peter.
Mm-hmm.
He has no support system whatsoever.
Because, yeah, we come to a close with Kraven and Mariah.
But I find that it's a little unsatisfying just in this regard. Yes, she agrees to go semi-beast, like Kraven. She does not want to change back all the way. But the problem is, what kind of life are they going to lead? Peter asks that. He's like, like, they're going to go off and eat, like, food raw. They're going to forsake science and civilization, which there are problems with civilization. But there's also good things like culture and literature and medicine and whatnot. These are good things. They're going to forsake all that. What kind of life is that? And that's really what he's asking. Now, Felicia thinks, well, what about happily ever after? You have Spider-Man. Yeah, that's not a thing where they're going.
Mm-hmm. Because
they've basically become animals.
It'd be one thing for them to essentially say that Mariah continued her work with Doctors Without Borders and not having to worry about dealing with sickness while she's caring for patients. But that doesn't come up.
She doesn't go for that. She goes off into the wilderness.
Yeah, it's like you have Kraven, who can still continue his work as a guide.
But the thing is, they choose to go live in the wilderness. Which, like I said, I don't think that's really much... That's not a happily ever after.
It's like,
in a lot of ways.
It was a quick way to...
write them out. But I actually like that they did write them out.
Yeah.
And I do really like that at least they do have each other. Now, that's as much as a happily ever after they're going to get. But I don't think it's perfect, like what Felicia thinks. But that said, in this episode, Peter was the unstable one. But he's in pain. And he didn't need a lecture. He needed compassion. But Felicia was fresh out of compassion and was wanting to tell him what to do and what to think. And I'm actually going to say this as well. The reason she's doing that is because he didn't bang her. Really, I know it seems petty, but the thing is, you got to bear in mind, she's trying to impress him. She wants him, but Spider-Man's mooning over MJ and his loss rather than her.
You know your entire theory on Felicia and Black Cat and the Fairies being two different people?
Yeah, in terms of personality.
Yeah, and that might have also been a factor.
Felicia had a lot more compassion over the course of events throughout the series than Black Cat does. Black Cat a few times doesn't always show compassion, but more frustration, exasperation, and other times sexual frustration. So I know I'm somewhat attacking the character a little, in that I'm implying, well, Spider-Man doesn't want her, so she's kind of a little bitter. But really, like, what other explanation is there for her? Yes, Spider-Man's getting whiny and angry, and that's hard to put up with as a person. No, it would be. But the thing is, at the same time, she knows he's going for a trial, and he's told her, like, I've lost every person I've ever loved. And, like, what's your reaction there? If someone told you that, what would be your reaction? Oh.
Would you like to talk about it?
But instead she goes, well, you gotta do better for me. Wait, hold on. Whoa. No, or like, you gotta do better. No, she's nagging. She's annoying him. Really, a bit of human compassion.
On the other hand, whenever people have offered to listen to Spider-Man, he's shut them down.
Not every time. Connors.
Yeah.
Crawford. Robbie.
Okay, you got me there.
MJ. I mean, we all love to talk to her. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I actually really do like her character. Even Felicia, he's talked to and opened up to a few times. Both as Spider-Man and Peter. And that's the thing. As Black Cat, she's condemning him a few times for opening up. I think the other factor is the whole He's in a moment of weakness, and she's not liking that. She wants him to be the same mysterious, sexy, near bandit guy that he was in her daydreams. But in reality, he's just
He's just a hurt human being.
yeah. So she's not happy with her dream, the glass shattering over her head.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what's happening as well. So you have a mixture of reasons. She's angry. He's not mooning. Like, here's the thing. He's mooning this much over someone else. I think she did guess that's another girl, and she's a little jealous there. On the other hand, he's also, yes, difficult to work with. There's no denying that. And it's just disillusioning to see your hero, the guy you want to bone, this broken.
Mm-hmm. It's like there's a part of her that wants to help, but she's going at it all wrong.
She's going at it like a battering ram, when really the velvet glove can be useful here. And a little sensitivity. The funny thing is, though, as Felicia, she would show that compassion. But as Black Cat, she has very little compassion in her.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, this is a very good character episode.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting on her case, but it's just the episode focuses more on her than Spider-Man. You could be excused for thinking him the sidekick and her the superhero, which is very annoying.
On one hand, I just had a thought that maybe in a way, Felicia has broken herself.
How so?
With all of the men that have come by, you have, with everything that went down with Jason Macendale, with her father and her mother.
Yeah, she is. But on the other hand, remember, she decided she wanted Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But as Felicia, she doesn't seem to, I don't think she gives up. But as Black Cat, I don't know, like, the personalities seem totally different.
Mm-hmm. It's like,
it's so weird.
Like,
but I can't say it's the writing, because the writing is always pretty top-notch in this series.
Mm-hmm.
So there must be something we're not cluing in on. And before anyone in the comments gets smart-assish and says, oh, well, obviously you're not cluing in on how great Black Cat is. Well, trust me, comic book Black Cat, way better as a character.
Yeah.
And way more stable and consistent. At least up to 97. The thing about Black Cat, though, is she is the sidekick to Spider-Man. And the other thing is that I think John Semper Jr. did have his own idea about how to go about things. And he did have an idea here regarding Black Cat and regarding Spider-Man, likely showing her growing as a crime fighter and whatnot. But the problem is just how clumsy it is.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, Spider-Man is a good character. His characterization is good here. Black Cat's characterization is generally good, but I think a lot of the stuff going on with her approaching things like a battering ram, completely different from Felicia Hardy, is on purpose. Because there's no way it's not on purpose.
Because I know
he's too good a writer not to nail it.
Because I was going to say that part of Felicia is probably running away to hide behind Black Cat.
Yeah, psychologically.
Because
trauma,
Morbius,
power. Because you got to bear in mind, she gets a huge kick out of being the super soldier.
Yeah, it's like she can actually get something done, not be a damsel.
Yeah,
and she doesn't realize that Black Cat is a whole different person.
Yeah, although at least she's not as bad as Jen Walters in the comics. Oh. That woman is corrupt.
At least this Felicia and this Black Cat, they're both trying to be good people.
Yes. Unlike She-Hulk, whom in the comics, just every turn of the way, just like, let's just let's just act like mercenaries with using the law just to gain money and whatnot. That is how She-Hulk operated in quite a few comics. It's just, acting like scum, where Matt Murdock's the one trying to defend people and the innocent. But anyways, Black Cat is overall likable here. Yes, we complain about her being preachy, but the thing is, there are mitigating factors for why she is acting that way. Peter there are reasons for why he's acting that way. So it's almost a tragedy in this episode how everybody, you could see all the flaws and where everyone should be able to meet halfway, but they aren't. And that's really the tragedy here. That said, at least the best possible ending, I guess, under the circumstances that could have happened, did happen. But next time we'll see how things turn out. I'm hoping for a more Spidey-focused episode.
I agree.
I can't wait for the Punisher Green Goblin episode. That's going to be fun. Anyways, like, comment if you liked us reviewing this episode. Share the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to 1,000 so we can publish a dark fantasy horror novel. And stay tuned for more of our champion reviews and other content.